Let's go.
The podium ceremony still hasn't been fixed, but EA Sports WRC is still rolling out new updates. The second part of the season expansion is out tomorrow, and we spent the last week with the Le Maestros DLC. 6 new cars, new stages for Monte Carlo and Portugal, and lots of new liveries and moments. Let's see for whom it's worth firing up WRC again. Welcome back to Overtake, I'm Michel, and I have a question for our friends from France. Shouldn't it be like Les Mastros, not Le Maestros, because of the plural? I just don't know. Let us know in the comments. Yeah, this DLC is clearly dedicated to the careers of the two French rally stars Sébastien Loeb and Ogier. Fittingly, Ogier won the Monte Carlo for the 10th time last weekend, and the coverage of this event was truly awesome. Chapeau to the WRC, this FPV drone live footage flying through the tunnel was mega. Yeah, as you might know, if you buy the game new, you will get the 2024 season expansion automatically, and this includes also this DLC. Otherwise, if you owned WRC before that change, you can buy also the DLC separately if you don't already own the 2024 expansion. So most of you should maybe have the DLC automatically even, which is quite nice. But otherwise, it's sold separately for €9.99 or also $, if last year's announcement is still valid. Yeah, Le Maestros will be released on 28 January 2025. Let's start with the cars. I was particularly looking forward to the VW Polo WRC from 2013. Ogier and Latvala dominated their debut season, scoring the driver's title for Ogier and also the manufacturer's title for Volkswagen at the same time, ending the 9-year Citroen streak. Even after that, nobody could stop this car before VW pulled the plug on the 2017 rally program. In 2015, I was there when Ogier won the Rallye Deutschland. The car also featured on the cover of the first dirt rally in 2015. The one in the game is fun, it handles well around corners and has a good grunt. I'm not sure how realistic the dashboard with the speedometer is. It looks rather generic and doesn't really match what was in the real car, I would say. Incidentally, the Polo opens a new car class in the game, 2012 to 2016 WRC. The car in which Loeb celebrated his last successes before VW entered the scene is also new. The 2012 Citroen DS3 WRC drives and sounds similarly aggressive to the Polo. The only thing that surprises me is that Loeb's license seems to be missing, as his name doesn't appear on the cars or in the announcements for the DLC. That's a shame. If they had really made a DLC with a small story mode about Ogier and Loeb, accompanied by short documentaries, it would have been fantastic. At least you have the cars, but with the liveries you get the feeling that something is missing. Latvala, Hirvonen, Mikkelsen, Meek, Sordo, or also other versions of the liveries would have been cool too. At least they've revisited the Mini and put it in the class with slight modifications and a 2012 livery, but it also remains in the 1997 to 2011 class. So it's kind of doubled now. That leaves us with 4 other cars in this DLC, 2 of which fall into the youngster category. Ogier unveiled the Citroen C2 R2 Max in 2008 and drove it in events before making the leap into the WRC cockpit in 2009. The C2 drives like a light front-wheel drive car with a short wheelbase should. So does the Peugeot S1600. Similar concept, but a few years earlier. However, the Peugeot is a bit more willing to turn, a bit wilder, a bit more fun, but in general EAWRC has more fun cars to offer than these two. How often do you actually drive them? What you should definitely do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free, and if you want to stay informed about sim racing and racing games, you can't go wrong. You should also visit our website, not only for news and forums and discussions, but for premium members at only $1 per month. Among other benefits, there's our racing club. For WRC though, our active RD Rally Club is in the free section, link is down below. Car number 5 in the pack is my personal favorite. The Citroen Xsara Kit Car arrived on the world's rally stages in the late 90s via the F2 regulations, and this class is really serious. The thing weighs just 960 kg, revs over 9000 RPM and produces 280 bhp. It's no surprise that this concept has at times rivaled the AWD WRC cars, especially on tarmac. At the 1999 Tour de Corse, 2 Xsara Kit cars topped the podium ahead of the assembled competition from Toyota, Subaru, Ford, and so on. The fascination with driving stability and low weight is very well represented in the game. If you drive cleanly, you can easily beat the WRC times of the 300 horsepower era. And this is the 6th car to be entered in the 2017 to 2021 WRC class, in addition to the Polo, which has never been officially competing, and the M Sport Fiesta, Ogier's world champion car. The Citroen C3 has also gained a lot of aerodynamic elements and builds up a lot of cornering speed. This also makes it a bit sluggish in weight transfer and turning. It doesn't really want to change direction. You have to force it a bit to turn more than other cars. This brings us to the new stages. There is talk of 12 stages, but by now we know the Codemasters way of counting them. Basically, there is a 14.3 kilometer stage for Monte Carlo and the 11.3 kilometer Fafe for the Rally Portugal. These are then offered in reverse and divided into 2 sections each. So we end up with 6 per country, but it's basically just 1. The most disappointing thing about this DLC is that none of the content is included in the career mode. A disclaimer reads, Le Maestros cars and stages will only be available in time trial, moments, quick play and clubs at launch. Yeah, the fact that the stages don't even appear in championship mode is the biggest setback for me, as that's actually my favorite mode to play. I hope this will be patched, because the stages are really good. For me it's not quite at the level of the Rally Poland, but that's more due to the character of the rallies, not the implementation in the game. Because in both cases we have one-to-one stage recreations from the real world. Briançonnet-Entrevaux on the Monte is a typical stage of this rally. Some fast, open sections that require some commitment, alternate with narrow rock faces. Yeah, you have to adapt your rhythm to the change in pace and not get overconfident. A few stones on the side of the road will put the car out of shape more than you would like. If you're driving in winter, the surface changes with ice sections. It's still a shame that EAWRC doesn't allow cross-mounting or mixing tire compounds, as in the real rally we just saw this weekend. This would have added a cool strategic element. The Fafe in Portugal is an absolute fan favorite, famous for its massive jump and the crowds the stage attracts. And yes, the jump is really something. You should check it out in VR. The first part of the stage isn't really my cup of tea. I generally don't like those tunnels or hard edges to the left and right, but that's also the case with the real stage. Graphically, it looks really nice. Codemasters have got the Unreal Engine under control now, it seems. However, the crowd and atmosphere could be just more and a bit better for my taste. And yeah, there's no leap over WRC generations, which also realized the stage, and it was also lacking a bit of crowd and yeah, just in general the atmosphere of the stage being like a party. Is there anything else new in the DLC? Yeah, Codemasters is giving us 17 liveries. My insider tip is the Fiesta WRC 2018 with the Ogier livery, that's also new. And yeah, when the DLC goes live, there will also be 16 new scenarios in the Moments mode, which I haven't been able to test yet. Maybe there will also be some smaller video clips, what I mentioned in the documentary part that I would wish for. All in all, I really like EA's approach to WRC, especially historical content. Just imagine that for F1. And the expansions to the existing rallies are something I've been waiting for a long time. But there are still some problems. The AI's consistency hasn't really convinced me on my runs. Normally AI level 90 works quite well for me, and I can win stages by a small margin if I get through cleanly. However, this wasn't the case on some of the stages in Portugal, depending on the car class. I simply lost a good second per kilometer, and that doesn't really speak for the consistency of the AI. I give this DLC an 8 out of 10 score because the content and the amount of content for the price is really good, especially compared to other racing titles. If you like to drive WRC a lot anyway, it's really a no-brainer. There are deductions for the limited game modes and the lack of liveries and especially the LÖB license. Let us know in the comments about your experience with WRC and the DLC, and make sure to join our Rally Club. As a reminder, the link is down below. Here you find our video for the first part of the 2024 expansion from a few months ago. Enjoy this week. See you next time.